Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. Recently, our maid got a new haircut, and with it, a newfound confidence that seemed to ripple through the entire household. Her name was Maria, a fixture in our lives for the past 3 years, known for her diligent work and warm, infectious smile. The change was subtle yet significant. Her long, cascading locks had been transformed into a chic, shoulder-length bob that framed her face in a way that accentuated her expressive eyes and ever-present kindness. At first, the new haircut was just a matter of aesthetics. We all noticed it immediately at breakfast one crisp autumn morning. My mother, always quick to comment on such things, was the first to speak up. "Maria, your new haircut looks fantastic. It really suits you." Maria's cheeks flushed with a mix of modesty and pride as she shyly thanked my mother. "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson. I thought it was time for a change." My father, who was usually more reserved with his compliments, nodded in agreement. "Yes, indeed. It does look very nice." As the days passed, the change in Maria's appearance began to bring about more than just visual transformation. There was an unexpected energy in the house, a slight shift in the way we interacted with one another. Maria, once a quiet presence in the background, now seemed to step into her role with a new sense of authority and enthusiasm. The shift became more pronounced during one particularly busy week. Our home, a grand, old-fashioned house with high ceilings and intricate moldings, had been in a state of organized chaos. My mother was preparing for a large charity gala, which involved a flurry of last-minute preparations and an incessant flow of guests. My father, always engrossed in his work, was scarcely home, and my siblings and I were caught up in our own school and social commitments. Despite the whirlwind around us, Maria seemed to move with an ease and efficiency that was almost uncanny. She managed to keep the house running smoothly, all while offering kind words and a listening ear whenever needed. Her new haircut was not just a cosmetic change, it seemed to signify a new chapter in her life, one where she felt empowered to assert herself more fully. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the house finally quieted down, I found myself sitting in the kitchen with Maria. She was preparing a fresh batch of cookies, the smell of vanilla and chocolate wafting through the air. I watched her with a newfound curiosity. "Maria," I began, "you seem different lately. More confident, somehow." She looked up from her task, her eyes twinkling with a mixture of surprise and amusement. "Do I? I hadn't really noticed." I nodded. "Yeah, it's like you're more present. It's a good thing, though. I'm glad you're feeling better." Maria smiled warmly, her hands pausing in their work. "Thank you, dear. It's funny you should mention that. I've been thinking a lot about change lately. Sometimes, it's the little things that make a big difference." As we chatted, I realized that Maria's transformation was more than just about her appearance. It was a reflection of the changes occurring within her and the impact it had on those around her. In her new haircut, I saw not just a style but a symbol of her growth and renewed sense of self. Little did I know that this seemingly simple change would set the stage for a series of events that would reveal hidden depths and forge new connections within our household. Maria's newfound confidence was just the beginning, and the weeks that followed would bring unexpected surprises, challenges, and discoveries that would forever alter our lives. And so, with the aroma of cookies filling the kitchen and a sense of anticipation in the air, our story began to unfold, marked by the subtle but profound impact of one woman's transformation and the ripple effects it set into motion. Days turn into weeks, and Maria continues to settle into her role with a newfound confidence. The household buzzes with activity as my parents prepare for the upcoming gala. Little do they know, change is brewing beneath the surface. It's a Thursday afternoon when I return home early from school. The autumn sunlight filters through the large windows, casting warm patterns on the hardwood floors. I stroll into the living room, the house quiet except for the faint sound of laughter drifting from the kitchen. Curiosity piqued, I follow the noise, only to find the door slightly ajar. Peering inside, my heart stops. There's Maria, half naked, laughing and clearly having a good time with a guy I don't recognize. He's leaning against the counter, his hands wrapped around her waist as they share an intimate moment, oblivious to my presence. My breath catches in my throat, but before I can process what I'm seeing, the door swings wide open, and I step into the room. Maria? I say, my voice shaky, but they don't hear me. I take a tentative step forward, and the guy's head whips around. His face pales as he locks eyes with me, and in that moment, everything changes. Maria turns, her laughter fading as she realizes I'm standing there. Her face shifts from joy to horror, and the atmosphere thickens with tension. Get dressed. I manage to yell, but before I can say more, my wife, Amelia, walks through the front door, her laughter trailing behind her as she enters the kitchen. The sight that greets her leaves her frozen. What the hell is going on here? She screams, her voice echoing through the house. Maria scrambles to cover herself, her cheeks turning crimson. The guy, however, doesn't move, he simply stands there, looking as though he's just been caught stealing candy from a store. Amelia, driven by instinct, rushes forward. Get out, she shrieks, grabbing Maria by the hair and pulling her away from the guy. The sudden force catches Maria off guard, and she stumbles, a shocked expression on her face. Amelia, wait. It's not what it looks like. Maria protests, but her words fall flat against the chaos unfolding. I step in, my heart pounding. What do you mean it's not what it looks like? You're half naked with some random guy. The guy finally finds his voice, stammering, I'm just a friend. Friend? Amelia scoffs, releasing Maria and turning to him with fire in her eyes. You're nothing but a pathetic excuse for a man. I watch as her words cut through the tension like a knife. The guy's bravado evaporates, and he backs away, hands raised in surrender. I didn't mean to. Shut up. Amelia snaps, her rage palpable. Get out of my house, now. He hesitates, but the intensity of her gaze makes him bolt for the door, mumbling an apology as he slips past me. I watch him go, a mixture of confusion and anger swirling inside me. Once he's gone, I turn back to Maria, who stands there trembling, her eyes wide with disbelief. I can explain, she whispers, tears glistening in her eyes. Explain. I echo, incredulous. You've betrayed us. You're pregnant with his baby. Amelia moves in closer, her breathing heavy, her fury directed toward Maria. How could you do this? You were like family to us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to happen this way, Maria cries, her voice cracking. It's complicated. Complicated? I hiss, the anger boiling within me. How is this complicated? You slept with my wife's lover, and now you expect us to just understand. Maria drops to her knees, her hands clasped together in a pleading gesture. Please, just listen. I didn't know he was Amelia's. I thought it was just a fling. Enough. Amelia's voice rings out, cutting through Maria's defense. You've ruined everything. The air grows heavy with silence as I take a step back, trying to grasp the reality of the situation. Betrayal. Deceit. My mind races as the weight of my wife's infidelity crashes down on me like a tidal wave. Amelia, I say, my voice low but firm, we need to talk. Just the two of us. Amelia's eyes flicker to Maria, then back to me, confusion etched across her features. I don't want to hear any more of her lies. I need to process this, I insist, the resolve in my voice cutting through the chaos. Please. With a sharp nod, Amelia storms out of the kitchen, leaving me alone with Maria, whose tears flow freely now. What have I done? She murmurs, her voice barely audible. Maybe you should have thought of that before, I reply, anger mixed with sorrow. My heart aches, not just for the betrayal, but for the shattered trust that once connected us all. The room feels suffocating as I ponder the next steps. I can't ignore the sting of betrayal, and a sense of revenge begins to coil around my thoughts. I turn to Maria, steeling myself. You will regret this. As I step away, the implications of what lies ahead settle heavily in my mind. The game has changed, and I'm determined to reclaim my life, no matter the cost. The silence in the kitchen is deafening after Amelia storms out. Maria remains on her knees, sobbing quietly, and I feel a mix of anger and pity. The air is thick with tension, and I know this moment is pivotal, not just for us, but for how our lives will unfold from here on out. Get up, I say, my voice cutting through the quiet like a knife. We need to talk. Maria wipes her tears, the remnants of mascara smudging her cheeks, but she nods and rises slowly, her posture defeated. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Your apologies mean nothing right now, I reply, my frustration bubbling to the surface. You need to explain what happened, everything. Maria glances toward the door, a flicker of fear crossing her face. I was lonely, she admits, her voice trembling. I thought it was just a casual fling. I didn't realize he was with Amelia until it was too late. Lonely? I scoff, incredulous. You've been living in a house full of people who care about you. You had no idea the man you were with was my wife's lover. I thought it was a one-time thing, she insists, her eyes pleading for understanding. I never meant to hurt anyone. I take a deep breath, trying to quell the rising tide of anger. You've hurt everyone, Amelia, me, and yourself. You can't just act like this doesn't matter. She lowers her gaze, her hands fidgeting at her sides. I know. I know I messed up. But you don't have to take revenge on me. I'll make it right. Make it right? I shake my head, disbelief coursing through me. How can you even think that's possible? Just then, Amelia bursts back into the kitchen, her face flushed with anger and hurt. I can't believe I let you get close to me, she snaps, her eyes zeroing in on Maria. You've ruined everything. How could you betray my trust like this? Amelia, please, Maria begs, stepping forward. I never meant to. Don't. Amelia's voice rises. Don't even try to defend yourself. You've been nothing but a snake in our home. Maria's eyes dart between us, panic flooding her features. I was just trying to find a way to be happy. I never meant to come between you. Save it, I interject, cutting her off. You've already made your choice, and it's time to face the consequences. Amelia crosses her arms, her anger palpable. You need to leave, Maria. Right now. I don't want to see your face again. Maria recoils, her expression shifting to one of despair. Please, I can't go. I have nowhere else to turn. Maybe you should have thought about that before, I say harshly. You made your bed, now lie in it. Please. Maria's voice breaks, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'll do anything to make this right. I'll quit. I'll leave. Just give me a chance to explain. Amelia shakes her head vehemently. No more chances. You've lost that privilege the moment you decided to sleep with my husband's lover. The tension hangs heavy in the air, and I can feel the weight of the moment pressing down on all of us. I step forward, the anger boiling inside me. You've both betrayed me in the worst way possible. I don't know if I can ever forgive either of you. Amelia's expression softens slightly as she looks at me, her anger momentarily giving way to vulnerability. I didn't mean for it to come to this, she says, her voice quieter now. But I don't want to hear it. I bark, cutting her off. You both have hurt me deeply, and it's time I take action. Maria's eyes widen in fear. What do you mean by action? You're not going to. I'm going to make sure you both regret this, I say coldly, the resolve firming in my voice. This isn't just about what happened here. It's about everything you've taken from me. Amelia's eyes flash with anger again. You don't have to do this. We can work through it. You don't have to stoop to her level. But I shake my head, feeling a dark clarity settle over me. You don't get it. This is about reclaiming my life. You both thought you could play games with my heart and my trust, and now you'll see what happens when you betray me. I stride past them both, feeling the weight of my anger fueling my steps. I can hear Maria's sobs in the background, but I don't stop. Instead, I head to my study, where I know I can think clearly. Sitting at my desk, I take a deep breath, letting the reality of the situation wash over me. I feel lost and betrayed, but I also feel a fire igniting inside me, a desire for retribution, for justice. My phone buzzes, and I glance down to see a message from a friend I trust, someone who knows the ins and outs of my life. How are you holding up? It reads. I type back quickly, my fingers flying over the screen. Not great. Need to talk. There's been a major betrayal in my life. As I hit send, a plan begins to form in my mind. I won't just let this go unpunished. I will make sure that both Maria and Amelia understand the ramifications of their actions. They may think they can walk away from this, but I will ensure that they are forever changed by what has happened here. The door creaks open, and Amelia steps inside. I look up, my expression hardening as I meet her gaze. You don't belong here anymore, I say, my voice low but steady. I know, she whispers, tears pooling in her eyes. But I still love you. Love? I scoff, the bitterness tasting sour in my mouth. This isn't love. This is betrayal. As she turns to leave, I feel the walls of my heart harden. I may not know exactly how this will all unfold, but one thing is clear, the story is far from over. And the reckoning has just begun. The atmosphere in the house is thick with tension as I prepare for the confrontation that will seal the fate of everyone involved. I can't let this betrayal go unanswered. My heart races as I gather my thoughts, the resolve hardening within me like steel. I'm determined to make Amelia and Maria understand the consequences of their actions. This isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming my life. I find Amelia in the living room, her face a mask of confusion and sadness. She looks up as I enter, her eyes searching mine for something, an explanation, perhaps, or maybe a hint of reconciliation. But I know that's not possible. Not after everything that's happened. Are you really going through with this? She asks, her voice trembling slightly. Amelia, I say, my tone sharp and unyielding, you need to understand that I won't stand by and let this go unpunished. You've betrayed me in the worst way, and I won't let you or Maria walk away unscathed. Her expression shifts from sadness to anger. You think that threatening me will fix everything? This isn't about me anymore, it's about what you're willing to do to two women who cared for you. Cared for me? I snap, stepping closer. You both shattered my trust. You brought a stranger into our home and shared a part of yourself with him while I was right there, unsuspecting. You think I'll just forget that? She opens her mouth to retort, but I raise a hand to silence her. I don't want to hear your excuses. It's time for action, and I have a plan that you'll soon wish you had never crossed me. Just then, Maria walks in, her eyes red from crying, her face etched with a mixture of fear and defiance. What are you planning? She demands, her voice stronger than I expect. I turn to her, feeling the fury swell inside me. You'll find out soon enough, I say, feeling a wicked smile tug at my lips. I'm done being the victim in this scenario. It's time for you both to face the consequences. Maria takes a step back, panic flashing across her features. You don't have to do this. I can leave. I'll never come back. No, you're not leaving, I say firmly. Not until I'm finished. The three of us stand in a tense triangle, the air electric with anticipation. What are you going to do? Amelia asks, her voice barely above a whisper. I'm going to ruin you both, I say, the words coming out like a promise. And you'll understand exactly how betrayal feels. I turn and walk out, leaving them in stunned silence. I head to my study, where I pull out my phone and begin making calls. It's time to put my plan into action. Hours later, I sit in a dimly lit cafe, the smell of coffee mingling with the sound of soft chatter around me. I wait for my contact, a friend of mine who has connections in the city. He's the kind of person who knows everything about everyone, and right now, I need that. When he arrives, he greets me with a casual nod. "What's the emergency?" I lean in closer, lowering my voice. "I need information on a guy named Kevin. He's the one who's been messing around with my wife and Maria." A smirk creeps across his face. "You want me to dig up some dirt on him? Consider it done." I watch him as he pulls out his phone, the wheels in my mind turning. This is just the beginning. I know that if I can expose Kevin for the kind of man he really is, it'll not only hurt him but also bring Amelia and Maria down with him. By the time I return home, I feel a renewed sense of purpose. I'm ready to unleash my plan, but first, I have to confront them one last time. When I walk back into the living room, I find both women sitting on the couch, their expressions a mixture of concern and uncertainty. "What's going on?" Amelia asks, her voice shaky. "Prepare for a storm," I say, my gaze cold and unwavering. "I've made some calls, and let's just say I'm not the only one who's going to face the consequences of your actions." "What do you mean?" Maria interjects, her eyes widening. "Kevin is going to lose everything he's built," I reply, enjoying the way their faces drop. "You both thought this was a game. Well, let's see how you handle losing someone who played you both." "You can't do this," Amelia pleads, rising from her seat. "It's not just about him, it's about us." "No," I say, cutting her off. "It's about the choices you made. You had a chance to be honest with me, and you chose betrayal instead. You both deserve what's coming." Maria's face pales, and she starts to tremble. "Please, I'll do anything. Just don't go after him." I shake my head. "You should have thought about that before. It's too late for regrets." With a final glance at their shocked faces, I turn and walk toward the door. I don't need to see their tears. I've already lost my love for them, all that's left is the satisfaction of knowing they'll have to face the fallout. Later that night, I watch from a distance as Kevin's life unravels. My friend follows through with the plan, leaking information about Kevin's shady business dealings to the press. The fallout is swift and brutal. He's publicly humiliated, losing his job and reputation in a matter of hours. As I sit back and watch it all unfold, I can't help but feel a sense of vindication. I've taken back my power, and while it may seem cruel, I know that sometimes, the only way to deal with betrayal is to ensure that those who hurt you understand the weight of their actions. The next day, I face Amelia and Maria one last time. They're both broken, the weight of what has happened heavy in the air. "You think this is over?" I ask, my voice steady. "You'll never see me again." Amelia reaches out, desperation etched on her face. "Don't leave us like this. We can fix things." I step back, my heart hardening. "No, you've made your choices, and now you have to live with them. I won't be a part of your lives any longer." With that, I turn away, my heart a mix of pain and liberation. I can't change the past, but I can choose my future. The betrayal has changed me, forged me into something stronger. I walk out of that house, leaving behind the echoes of what once was, and I step into a new beginning, one where I'm in control of my own destiny. As I close the door behind me, I feel the weight lift from my shoulders. The ties that bound me to them are severed, and I step into the unknown with a fierce determination. No more betrayal, no more lies, just a chance to rebuild and reclaim my life on my own terms.